Diamond Pro, all right. That's me. Hello, everybody. We are live, and welcome everyone to a discussion of Ashes of Man. It is book 5 of the Sun Eater series. I don't have my physical copy yet. It's on its way. It's going to look like Jacob's though when it arrives. I do have the first 3 though.
Nice.
Look at that.
Yeah.
They look great.
Yeah.
That lets you know how much you've been enjoying this journey, Dr. Chase.
I have. I've been listening to the audiobooks and enjoying them thoroughly. Samuel Ruocchio is the voice of Hadrian and a brilliant, very talented narrator. But I've been enjoying the series so much, and in no small part thanks to you and the wonderful people who've been joining us in the chat. But also just felt like, I need to have this in a physical form. So there we go. There it is. I broke down and purchased the broken binding edition. So I don't buy a lot of special editions. So that's a pretty big compliment. I have Malazan, which is my favorite series of all time. I have the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, and just a few others, and now I have Sun Eater. So there you
Surely
go.
you have your own, right? I see that.
I have my own special edition. Yeah.
If there's one you should have.
I didn't have to pay for that one though. So I feel like I'm cheating with that one.
You paid in blood and sweat.
That's yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And hopefully we'll be seeing books 2 and 3. So we have some lovely people. Speaking of the great people who've joined us in the chat, there's one of the usual suspects there. There's Remus. And also, we always have somebody who's becoming enamored with the writing of the incredible Janny Wurts.
Yes.
Grim Schwitz has picked up the first 3 books in the Wars of Light and Shadow. Great move. And okay. And speaking of Wars of Light and Shadow, I'm going to be having a chat pretty soon on book 7. So actually that's scheduled for the 24th, I think it is. So yay, we're continuing in that. And we've got to look at this person, very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Just like, man, let's go!
Who's that doofus?
You have a microphone, sir. You don't need to comment.
I was here early.
Yay. And there we go. There's Martian Luther.
Yeah.
Hail, Red Company. Are you ready to chat about the Martian book? Yeah, the Martians. And we've got some more lovely people who are joining us here. But I am going to start things here with getting some reactions from the 4 of you about your non-spoiler. We're starting non-spoiler here for Ashes of Man. Okay, we've got somebody here this is Ashes. This is Delicio.
Yeah.
Ashes of Man is my favorite in the series. Really looking forward to this discussion. Awesome. So, what do you guys, your non-spoiler thoughts on anything and everything Ashes of Man?
How is your mental state?
Oh my goodness.
Great question.
Yes.
I think I'm more in just stuck in the first stage of grief. I'm in denial still. Whereas the previous book, Kingdoms of Death, was just like, I was just, it was a absolute gut-wrenching. But this one, I don't think I've even gotten past the first stage of grief yet. So,
You sit with it a lot more here.
It's hard to compare the two because loss is, it can be vast and it can be very personal and it takes so many forms. And that's a big theme actually in this book. Speaking of non-spoiler stuff, loss and how you cope with it, and how it changes you, what you become. Because of course, Hadrian is and one of the things I love about this book, Ashes of Man, I have to say, is that Hadrian is deeply affected by what happened in the previous book. And that is a big part of, and I was so pleased to see Christopher Ruocchio following up on that trauma and Hadrian really being a visibly different person. Of course, you change as you age, but it has a lot to do with what he went through as well. So back to non-spoiler thoughts though. How about you, Jenny? What are your non-spoiler thoughts on Ashes of Man?
I think that the second half of this book, the opening and the second half, where the big emotional stuff happens, almost overshadows the action in the middle, which actually is going to become very pivotal. The active part in the middle where they go after, or Hadrian is sent after.
Yeah.
And so that hit me harder in a way because I could see where that was all going.
Yeah.
On this read.
Yeah. I mean, we've been warned many times about the particular losses that occur in this book, and yet still, I feel like it still hit me like a ton of bricks. But how about you, John? What are your non-spoiler thoughts on Ashes of Man? And where do you have a place where you would put it in the series and all that?
Oh man, see, for me, like Howling Dark On, it gets really hard. It just keeps building. It just keeps growing. By the end of Howling Dark, you just like, what? You know, and then it just keeps growing. Hadrian keeps becoming a different person. At the end of every book, Christopher Ruocchio does such an amazing job of there's a completely new status quo to this galaxy. Like, Hadrian's different. What's happening around him's different. He leaves off every book with you going, I need the next book because everything has changed. The arc changes book to book to book, and this one's no different. There's some gut punches there. There's some horrific stuff there, which is my happy place. So I was absolutely all about it.
There was one particular moment when I thought of you, John. Actually.
Yes, I bet I know the moment. There's some great, like for lovers of Star Wars and the Force, there's some great like space magic moments here, just big cinematic set piece moments. There's actions, there's pathos, there's just character development. We can really see Hadrian becoming quite a different person, and how this book leaves him in an entirely different place. I will say, the next book, Disquiet God, is my favorite Hadrian. So we're right there.
Okay. All right. There it is. That's your favorite book in the series, Disquiet Gods.
It's
or your favorite version of Hadrian, is that what you're saying?
It's top 3. It's my favorite version of Hadrian, yeah.
Okay.
I do have to ask really quickly, would you, I know you recommended that I did this, Dad. I wonder if you want Philip to do the same. You told me that before I read Disquiet Gods, I have to read Daughter of the Sword. Daughter of the Sword, which is a short story that takes place between Ashes of Man and Disquiet Gods.
Oh, Daughter of the Sword. Okay.
Yes.
You will not be sorry you spent your time on that short story before you jump into Disquiet Gods.
I've been doing the novellas. In fact, I actually finished listening to Dregs of Empire before this. I'll talk about what that is because I know Janny has not.
They're about to release an omnibus of all of them.
Yes.
With another one appended on, and that I will be picking up. I got a gift certificate to Uncle Hugo's, and I will be dropping my phone call to Uncle Hugo's to say when that sucker pops, send it. So,
is that going to include the novellas or just a short
story? I think it's an omnibus of all of the short fiction plus
it's just
one story that takes place after.
Okay.
Shadows Upon Time.
Time.
Okay. So if you want the novellas as well.
That's when I will catch up on all of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like to get ebooks. I hate them.
I don't like to read digitally either.
Yeah. The short stories so far, except for some like special edition things, the short stories have only been digitally available on Amazon. So Songs of the Sun Eater is the first time they're going.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get the paper book and then I'll catch up to you guys.
Okay.
Right.
It's in this collection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daughter of the Sword is in that one.
All right. Well, I will get a hold of that for sure, and I'll try to get access to Daughter of the Sword before I start on Disquiet Gods then. This is beautifully said. Ashes, to me, is the lament of the series.
Yeah.
Hadrian is grieving not only the people he lost, but the selves he never got to become. Those are selves that he has had visions of even. The weight of his life and decisions are starting to drag on him. Beautifully said. Dylan, your non-spoiler thoughts on Ashes of Man.
Keeping this non-spoiler and cohesive is really tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love Ashes of Man. Like I put it up with the books 3 and 4. Just like my favorites.
Okay. Top 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ranking them is hard because I really like the aged Hadrian that we get. Like you can really feel his years wearing on him now. Every experience he's been through, well, I'll save some for non-spoiler because I don't know how much I can say. But I really liked the one-on-one conversations Hadrian had throughout this book. The revelations, his relationship with a certain pivotal leader in this book. Like,
Yeah. That's a big
that
highlight.
aspect of the series is my favorite, and getting so much of that here. And I feel like on the second read, I was able to really like hone in, especially in the interactions towards the end of the book, and like maybe it is my favorite read just with how much it really worked.
Wow. Yeah. I do want to, that is one of the big talking points I wanted to, so I'm so glad you brought it up. That is going to be, for me, one of the most compelling parts of this as well. That particular relationship is I've always enjoyed it, but I think it's at its best even in this book. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Well said. How about you, Jacob? What are your non-spoiler thoughts?
I have to completely agree with Dylan that this kind of teeters. Sometimes it's my favorite of the series, sometimes it's Kingdoms of Death, sometimes it's Disquiet Gods. But Ashes of Man is pretty frequently, I would say, my favorite of the series because, mostly because of what Janny said. This is such an emotional side of Hadrian that I don't think we've gotten from the series so far. And it just hits you like a truck when you have the emotional impact of the ending of this book, but also the kind of second act or middle of the book. There are so many revelations in there that looking back, now having finished the series, like it is one of the most important parts of the series. Like it really, the ending doesn't have as much of a foot to stand on if this book doesn't do what it does so well. It's really important.
Yeah. Okay. Beautifully said. Yeah. I mean, you guys have been pretty wishy-washy with your rankings here, but
I don't hear a ranking from you either.
Yeah.
Philip,
What about you, Dr. Wishy-Washy?
I'm gonna have to be just join the club, I think, because it's hard when they're all this good.
Yeah.
It's a whole story.
Yeah,
You
it
can't
is.
parse it by volume and say,
It
I
is.
like this part better than that part, because each one is a snowball and it rolls into the next. And so I'm not going to try to rank them, because
Yeah.
honestly, it's one giant story done in 7 volumes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So,
And my ranking tends to fall by how much torment and torture and really grisly, nightmarish horror there is, because
yeah.
those are not going to be my favorite pieces, but you can't leave those pieces out. It's all part of the same story. So my ranking tends to follow that graph, is how much did I get nightmares and lie awake at night and going, oh, that creeped me out.
This
So
Jimmy,
your ranking versus my dad's is an inverse
Yeah,
relationship.
it's completely
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
there's
We'd
Jimmy,
have fights over it.
Jimmy's doing his
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it. You're in a war now, Dr.
We're in
Chase.
big trouble. Sorry, Jimmy. It's the only time we can all do it. Although I don't know, we might have to change that now that Dylan's in a different time zone. But
That's true.
We can revisit that. We can revisit that. Sorry, Jimmy. Have fun. Yeah. No, this is well said here by Clayton. Some book series can get worse over time. A lot of them do, unfortunately. It's like there's a good first book, and then, but Sun Eater actually, I feel it goes from strength to strength.
It doesn't get better book after book. It ramps up just as a good
It
story
grows.
does.
It
Yeah.
grows.
It
Yeah.
just gets it connects and it builds and it connects and it builds, so that you're running a good story hits that high peak and then it hits the roller coaster, which would be the final volume.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see that it gets better book after book. He starts you at one level and he just continuously ramps the story. So it's a genuinely well done long form work.
Yeah.
You could not do this as a trilogy. You could not do this as a 1 volume. You could not possibly do this, a work of this breadth and this scope. So it's exactly what it is, which is a properly, excellently done, genius level, long form work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But you can't drop any one volume out of this because the whole
Yeah.
thing would fall apart because it is
Absolutely.
that contiguous.
Okay. So Ben is seconding your motion to read Daughter of Swords, but also throws in After the Feast, which is a Corvo. I love Corvo, so I could definitely go for that. And there we have a McScarfield in the house.
Garfield is here.
And more abuse from Jimmy's Uber fans.
Yeah, yeah.
The hand
Sorry,
of
Carlos
nuts.
and Yolanda. It's probably Carlos, but sorry, guys. And then here we have another great comment from Remus. I was next to my wife when I finished Ashes, and she looked over at me, and apparently I was frozen with my hand on the book, staring into space. When I finished it, she had to snap me out of it. Yeah, could totally see that happening. Oh, you haven't read Shadows Upon Time yet, McGarfield. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. Huh. Wow. Okay. They got to get it over there. All right. That's interesting. And there's Chris Longson, The Royal Game Fangs of Oanos, and Daughter of Swords are a trilogy of short stories. Okay. So we're adding to the list of stories.
Yeah.
Read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we should append the songs of Sun Eater
Yeah.
after we finish the last book.
And Prater Zinn says,
true.
I seem to be alone in not being hit hard by that event, as I predicted it very early in the book. It is definitely more than hinted at, even before this book, actually. I've talked about it in previous conversations with you guys. I knew this was coming. I didn't know when. But
For sure.
Yeah, he just counted the poker faces.
yeah. Yeah.
But still, it hits for me.
Yeah.
Still it hits. Yeah.
It hit me. It did hit me. But I agree with the idea that this was not a surprise.
No.
But
I was surprised it didn't happen sooner, honestly.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Well, the anxiety, I guess, was there for a time. But yep. Okay. So here's Hadrian tells you exactly when in the vision with brethren in book 2. Okay. Yeah, I believe that. This is a reread, definitely. This is a series I have to reread and catch things for sure. And then we have another comment on this matter, which we still haven't even talked about explicitly because we are not in spoilers yet. I think how much it's hinted at is part of what makes the book my favorite. It felt like a train wreck in slow motion, knowing there is nothing you can do to stop it, just a matter of when and how. And that's so true. And even though that's true, the moment it happens is just like, boom,
Yeah. The way it tends to be, right, in life. And I've been saying, like, even before Kingdoms of Death, I was like, I've been waiting for that tab to be slid across Hadrian's table. And it's like, there's a bill coming. And these are those continues from Kingdoms of Death, those tabs that get slid across. But it's still, I mean, you kind of knew, you kind of felt it. You kind of had that vibe. But yeah, no, when it happened, it was still, and I think because it happened after Kingdoms when maybe you were looking for it, it's almost that fake, whew, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe not, maybe, yeah.
Yep, he does such a good job keeping you engaged with the story, even though you sometimes know what is coming because he's writing it after the fact. Yeah, that's a talent. For sure. You can see it coming, and the train wreck in slow motion is an accurate description. Even after it happened, I remember sitting there, and it still hit hard. Yeah, same here. Yep. I would say the crash out when it happens was so valid. Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I think that's all of us non-spoiler. I want to add anything non-spoiler before we jump fully into spoilers, because we've been kind of dancing around spoilers.
We've been dancing around it for a while.
Time anyway.
The series.
Did you give your spoiler-free thoughts already, Philip?
Didn't I?
Oh,
maybe I did. Yeah.
I might have.
I think I started
paying
to.
too much attention to the comments.
You're actually right, Jacob. I didn't really, but just I like to talk about themes, and I mentioned already the idea of you becoming a different person, not only because of age, but because of trauma and what you go through and what trauma does to you and grieving. And I felt like that was handled so well here from what happened in the previous books and then what happens again here. But there are other themes going on. Some of the same themes we've been talking about from earlier discussions. But there's class and the exaggerated forms of class that we have here, which can because you have these nobles who live hundreds of years, even thousand, and then you have ordinary folks who seem to be less human from the perspective of these 1,000-year-old nobles, and as a consequence, there's one particular character I want to talk about in terms of his attitude toward the common people, because I feel I like this character a lot, but I feel conflicted a little bit about his attitude toward the common folk, if you will. But and just there's so much here, but I feel like it is time for us to dive into the spoilers. So let's do that. I have to say, guys, I was belly aching before about how Christopher Ruocchio, how could he possibly have named the biggest jerk Philip, the Prince Philip, the worst kid of the Emperor? But I actually wrote an email thanking Christopher Ruocchio for the redemption for the name Philip here, because of course Gibson is none other than Philippe Bourbon. You guys can call me Philippe from now on, okay?
Yeah.
No.
Dr. Philippe. Actually.
Dr. Philippe.
That was a revelation when Hadrian and Valka are they go to Colchis, and they're still there licking their wounds, but they know they have to leave, and eventually Gibson passes away, and Hadrian has that conversation over at the library with the director of the library, where he learns that Gibson was actually, and there's so much.
Then he killed his son.
He killed his kid. He killed his son, Augustine.
And Gibson knew it.
Yep.
And so it's like, whoa, that I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
So many parallels, though, between Hadrian and Gibson in a sense, too. Like Gibson was, of course, sent to Belucia, right? Mm-hmm. Hadrian was supposed to be sent to Belucia. Like, I'm sure Gibson saw so much of his young self in Hadrian. So, any thoughts, though, from you guys on that particular part of the story? John?
The interesting thing, and I was thinking about this when you were saying about your themes and these things that work for you, Dr. Chase, and as Hadrian grows and sees the world in a different way and the people around him in a different way, it truly struck me one of the things that also is in play here is the idea of responsibility. The idea of, as he grows, the weight of carrying the legend of the half-mortal, the weight of loss, losing a father like this, I just love that we didn't think we'd have this dramatic moment where a son gets to be with his father when he passes, and we get to have that human experience. But now you have the responsibility of carrying on without that mentor in your world. So I love how he becomes more and more on this path of the weight of responsibility, as well as all these things start to as all these things build up and build up.
Yeah, beautifully said. And it does add a lot of dimensions to the father-son relationship.
Oh, so much.
Of Gibson and Hadrian.
Yeah. And you say Gibson saw himself in it. Gibson went through it himself. He had that responsibility on him. He was sent to, he went through so many parallels, like you said.
We don't really know how attached Gibson was to Augustine, since how nobles are basically they're decantered in a glass vial somewhere. They're not really, and there's a lot. If we can, to judge by Hadrian's relationship with his own father, there's not necessarily a lot of closeness there. But one has to think that Augustine had to have reached such levels of power must have renounced his father entirely.
The weird twist that hit me hard was that after Gibson dies, Hadrian's resolution is he and Valkar, we're going to get away from this. We're going to run. We're going to ditch it.
Yeah.
That this isn't going to be worth it. That they're going to make their own life together, and then they just totally do not get the opening.
That's when you knew this book was she wasn't making it.
I knew that was the first clue.
That was then. Yeah.
And the big one was, I want to have a baby, and that was like,
yep.
She's gone.
Yeah.
She's definitely gone. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the most like, if I don't come back kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Gibson's decision in Empire's silence to help Hadrian makes even more sense once you know his backstory. So true.
Right. And that responsibility or that grief that Gibson carries of like you say, maybe not being close to his own son. Maybe this is his second chance. Maybe this,
Absolutely.
like all of these human things that are layered in. I just absolutely love that the time is taken to have them there. And it's not just, of course, the action's there, big moments, but there's so much humanity layered in.
Yeah. Makes Garfield's pointing out some interesting parallels between the Septembrine Revolt and the 19th century Russian Decembrist uprising, which ended up with people in Siberia, which is comparable to Beluga in many ways.
Yeah.
So, good. Any other thoughts on this moment? We're going to have to leave behind Colchis, I think, soon. And Hadrian and Volca get interrogated. And not everyone is very friendly about it, but it's they're getting all that information. But essentially, they returned to Nessus, where we meet. One important thing that happens there. Another indication of Volca's imminent fate is that Hadrian finds the phylactery with her blood in it. And then the other thing that happens there is we meet this guy Hector Oliva, like. I almost want like a whole series of Hector Oliva adventures now, right? But the contrast between him and Hadrian, I think, is the major point here, right? They're very parallel, but of course, Hadrian's at a much later stage, wounded, literally wounded, and trying to recover that former dashing hero self, but really not quite getting there. And but this guy, this young, confident, upcoming hero, it's really quite an interesting contrast. Of course,
the departure paragraph when
Yeah.
Hadrian sees him leave, going off to the next battle, and you're seeing it from his future self, knowing that he won't return. I found that very, very moving.
Yeah, beautifully said.
The young hero that doesn't make it through.
Yep.
And apparently he doesn't make it through. He dies in defending. I forget which planet it was. Was it actually? No, whatever planet it was. We learned that Hector Oliva does not have a long life in front of him. That was. I knew that was it. As far as Volca's agreeing or wanting to basically, give up her being Tavrosi. Basically, she was essentially saying, "I'm with you. We're."
She gave up being Tavrosi when they were going to wipe her brain. They literally had to flee Tavros because they were going to wipe her brain to heal her because they couldn't tolerate what had happened. So I felt like that didn't surprise me that she had already left the culture.
Yep.
In many ways behind.
And so we've got Hector is a reflection in many ways, and Hadrian instantly hates him.
Yeah, right.
Because of that.
That moment Janny talks about, it's like that weird funhouse mirror of you get to see the cost of conflict. This vibrant, young, ultra confident hero, and he knows he's just walking to his doom.
And Hadrian's broken at this point. So apparently, Chris Longson is telling us that Christopher Ruocchio has said a Sir Hector series will come. Whoa! Yay! All right, and it'll be a lot more military focused than the main series. All right, okay, we'll take it. That's amazing. We have a question here. It's been a while since I've read the series, but is book 5 the one where weird things happen? I think they all are.
You can say that about any of them, really.
You say that from anything. Yeah, that's true.
Weird things do happen in book 5 for sure. I mean, Hadrian uses the power of the quiet to break a window and destroy a ship from a distance. I mean, that we'll talk about that moment.
The plague. Come on, weird things. You gotta go. You gotta get into the plague, baby.
Yeah, the cancer virus and all that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay, so moving on, they do get to where they're supposed to go, and there's a reunion with Lorien, which is wonderful. Speaking of the devil, the little devil, we have the Dregs of Empire. If in case anybody doesn't know about it, it's essentially Lorien's story after Ashes of Man. And it's definitely worth. To me, I thought it was great. I love that character Lorien, and with some Lorien love out there.
Yeah, Lorien is awesome.
Yeah, the reunion is absolutely something. The two of them are both very dramatic, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I will say of I'm not going to spoil Dregs of Empire, but it was really fascinating to learn some things I did not know about Lorien when he's the POV character. Like there are a couple really interesting things that you would not know from the main series, but when you're in his head, you realize, oh, that's how he felt about this particular character, or oh, he's one of those. Oh, okay. You don't know that in the main series, so that was cool. I thought.
Interesting. I'll have to read that one. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well worth it. It's such a great. I won't say, but.
Yeah, tell me how it ends.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say it's such a great, and then like that kind of story it is, but that's still even saying what kind of story it is telling too much.
Yeah.
But it may be my favorite of the three novellas, actually.
I could see that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway,
the novellas and the books themselves, to some point, are kind of Ruocchio playing with different genres. So I don't think it's a spoiler to say that he was, trying out a certain genre with Dregs of Empire. I would have assumed that.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It is some of the darker stuff.
It gets darker than what he's already done.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna get to this moment, of course. The "she was only Tavrosi" moment. The slap heard around the universe.
Yeah, I saw someone call that the Will Smith moment. I thought that was
Will Smith moment. Yeah, that was.
It was so predictable though, because he slapped anybody that messed with impinging or denigrating his girlfriends. Right back to book one, he beat up his brother over it.
Yep.
He walloped somebody else over another. So yeah, it's like, okay, we'll escalate who he's hitting. That's all.
That's number one rule with Hadrian: you don't mess with Volta. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Any of his girlfriends.
Yeah, true.
He smacked or beat up or punched somebody out every time.
Yep. Somebody's got a little bit
freaking
of
chauvinist. Never mind.
Chivalrous.
It should have been Valka slapped the emperor. Really.
There is one line in Dregs of Empire that I'm going to spoil. It's not really a spoiler, but it's when Lorien is thinking about Hadrian, and he's trying to keep his own temper in check, and he's remembering that thing that Hadrian always would say. What is it? Anger is what's the line? No, I'm forgetting Hadrian's line. But anger is a poison. Anger is a poison, I think, is the line.
Is it?
And then Lorien thinks himself, but Hadrian is actually the angriest person I know.
Yeah.
Rage is blindness. Okay, that's probably
what it is. Yeah.
There it is. Thank you for correcting that. Rage is blindness, and then he's like, "Yeah, well, actually, Hadrian's the angriest person I know." So, anyway, a few really important things happen. In addition to the reunion with Hadrian, they journey to Cartea, where there are these relief efforts going on, and there's the big meeting with lots of stuff is revealed in this meeting with William, and Nicephorus, of course, is the one who brings him to this meeting. We learned so much here that actually the emperor has known a long time about the Watchers, and there's also this revelation about Hapsis, I think it's called, this intelligence agency that's been basically super secret. Very few people even know it exists, but you've got this, like, there's a lot of lore in this meeting. Right?
Yeah.
So you guys have any thoughts on any of this stuff?
The setting was freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
That they had to go to a completely gutted out wrecked shell in order not to be surveilled, not to, to get away from the court, super secret meeting.
Yep.
And the theater in which it takes place is such a reflection of the times.
Yep.
It's a masterstroke of writing to have used setting so powerfully there.
Very symbolic too, really, when you consider.
You know, and you really got the sense of how quickly that planet fell because of the way that setting was torn apart and left that way. You could see the remains of the panic, the remains of the shattering of that city still graphically present, even though it had happened months ago.
Yeah.
Brilliant piece of writing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have to say, some of my favorite moments in Sun Eater have been Hadrian William discussions.
Yes.
One-on-ones like that.
Yes.
Dylan was the one who brought that up. And this was no exception. There's so much tension between these two. And you can tell that William half believes that Hadrian is the reincarnation of his ancestor, and that he's this chosen one. But everyone around him doesn't believe it, and because it would mean he's essentially admitting his own humanity. Like it goes against the whole like religion and everything else. That he's essentially saying, no, I'm the line, but this guy's the real thing. I'm a kind of a fake in a sense. If he admits that Hadrian is the reincarnated William I, right? Not himself. But clearly he realizes that Hadrian he's something different. He understands what the quiet is and what that implies about Hadrian. I love that tension. I just think it's gold. You know, it's writing gold. The every Hadrian and William discussion has been just wonderfully tense. Yeah.
I love the spin that Ruocchio put on that, because Hadrian is the ultimate chosen one, but he's the ultimate flawed chosen one who was not chosen because of his good qualities. He was chosen because, Ruocchio says it over and over again, he was the shortest distance between 2 points.
He was the closest,
So it wasn't an accolade. It wasn't, you are the best hero for this role. It was simply, you're the idiot that's going to break enough stuff that create that short distance between the 2 points. So it was a wonderful twist on the chosen one, not necessarily being the biggest hero on the scene. And I love that.
Yeah. Yep. I love that as well. I love I will just say, I love these scenes between the Emperor and Hadrian. Like, I love them. And it all builds up to the one in Shadows Upon Time is just the best. It keeps building that tension. It just keeps going and going until the very end. But in these scenes, you kind of start to get, or I did, and this grew for me as well in each of these scenes. You kind of start to get a soft spot and an affinity for William. Like, he is a believer. He does want the best. He does want to protect his people. He does see himself as that bulwark, that wall to protect his people behind him. Like, he does buy into that. And he's not just he is that insufferable aristocrat, but at the same time, like, he does have some depth and a heroic line through him. And it's like, I couldn't help but every one of these scenes, the tension's there, but I liked William more each time.
Oh, William's great. The thing I don't understand is William was so great, why did he elevate Alexander? I just don't get that one.
Well, it's kind of slim pickings. I mean, it could have been Philip, I guess, right?
Can't be Philip.
Can't be Philip.
You know who would have been a good one? Celine. Why not?
Yeah,
her?
I was going to say, why not her?
Yeah, she's
Celine.
much better than those doofus boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've had. But I don't know. Good question, Janny. Why Alexander? He seems like a bit of an ass, honestly. But we'll talk about
Unless he's such a good ass that he hides it completely from his father.
Yeah.
Maybe. Speaking of the ass, though, there's an assassination attempt on Hadrian while they're there. And Hadrian immediately thinks, oh, Alexander, you dirty, nasty, spoiled brat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a further source of tension, of course. Yeah. And, of course, to alleviate that, William sends Hadrian on another mission along with Bisander Lin. And, of course, Valka is there. And it's the Minos base where you mentioned it earlier, John. It's the horrible
Yes.
cancer virus.
Yes.
there's some really gross
Yeah,
stuff.
pretty
here.
gross stuff going on, and
That's
it's all
not the
going to
moment
come
I
up.
was thinking of you, John, though. So I'll tell
Okay.
you.
But it
It's
was a
not?
two-piece staging, writing-wise, because he had to show that to show what he's going to build off of that, and he had to show that in order for the entire ending of this to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because without that raid and the slipping in and slipping out with the Ascalon, so it was all build, but really significant stuff happened in that center section.
Absolutely.
And that what got me emotionally was Hadrian having to work with other young men and fighters that were not his Red Company.
The Dragon Slayers.
And
Yeah.
some of them worked with him and some of them distrusted him. And you really felt the fracturing of losing the Red Company even harder through that section.
Yeah, beautifully said, Jenny. Yeah, because he's thinking of his Red Company the whole time. And yet there's that one Dragon Slayer who's like, wait, why aren't you being targeted? And he doesn't trust Hadrian. And obviously that it's not the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a contrast moment there. But one of the best, most satisfying parts is Valka squishing the daylights out of Urbane in this and just like letting all that rage out. Thank goodness she got to do that at least before the end, right? That we got to see Urbane's end. I think he's definitely done now. He didn't get to email his consciousness somewhere.
Leap.
Before.
Yeah.
That was good at least. But the Jadians show up. And you guys.
I like Prince Olerin. He's cool.
Yeah.
You guys
He deserves Gandalf's name.
Great.
Every time I mentioned Aloran, I want more Aloran. You guys kept the best poker face.
Wasn't that a great twist, though?
It was.
Yeah.
I did not actually. I believed. I kept the faith that Aloran would show up again, but I did not anticipate that he was going to be Caim, Prince.
Yeah.
Caim. So that was awesome. I was actually cheering out loud when that reveal came. It was like, yes. So yeah. So any thoughts on the Aloran reveal or anything of this whole section here? Because the Jadians finally have joined the fray.
Yes. We've been waiting for that. And I love the Aloran reveal. I thought it was great. But I got to go back to the plague part because you know I'm me. And I got to say that it's like, you know how we always say it's like, oh, he's taking some of the bits and bobs and best pieces of some of the things from the genres that we all love and grew up with. And when we get to this plague part, for me, it's like taking a bit of the Matrix and just making it even worse. I mean, we're really diving down deeper into what this war with the machines, this jihad against the machines really was like and how insidious it really became and what was really going on. You get a peek for the first time. Well, not the first time, but you get a peek a little bit of how humanity was suffering on Earth. And I love that it got twisted and amped up even past like what we saw in the Matrix.
Yeah.
I mean, it also plays with the theming that we've talked about in previous books of what is the edges of humanity? How much technology can you add to one person before they become non-human? And in some ways, the weird cancer tumor-ridden people are a little more human than Hadrian is. Like Hadrian is this product of gene editing and splicing to become the perfect representation of a person with super tall and extra strength or whatever, and this is what humanity would have been had AI had their way.
Yeah, beautifully said. Mick Scarfield brings up a really cool moment too, because as supposedly superior as Urbane thinks he is, he attributes a quote to the wrong person, to Aristotle, when it was actually Archimedes, and Hadrian's like, you mean Archimedes, don't you? Hadrian putting him in his place. So he scores one on
we just watched a movie where that happened, that exact same thing. And I'm trying to remember which movie. It was within the last 5 days. We were watching a rerun of something because we have a ton of CDs. Yeah, and somebody corrects in. So I wonder if Ruocchio swiped that out of there. He has so many little connections like that. But I'm trying to remember which movie it was we were watching, but it went by and I said, oh, interesting.
That was a good moment. He wrote it in there really well.
Yeah, it was great.
But this is very emotional. The one more fight thing and again, as the Ronin points out here, you get the sense of foreboding every time.
You knew. He's so right. You totally knew.
Yeah.
I mean, not only because you know what's coming next, but it's just heartbreaking. Without taking into account what comes next, it's heartbreaking to think that these are two people that are just stuck in the unfortunate prophecy that they're in. You know, they've decided that they have regrets with the ways that their life has gone, and they would rather just have the white picket fence, so to speak. But they're stuck doing one more fight because of the situation that they're in. They're forced to do it. There's no other outcome that could have happened for these people.
Yeah.
The movie was The Post. I think it was in The Post.
Okay. Cool. Nice. Yeah.
Do you think they knew that though when they were telling each other one more fight and then we run?
I think
we go to the white picket fence. Do you think that's just a mantra they're giving to each other so they can get through it and they have to know like they know?
I think so. Yeah. Because they've gotten this far. Like how many of these books have started with the Emperor going, "I got a job for you, Hadrian, and I kind of hope you lose." Like it's happened quite a few times now. Yeah. These people were never going to get away from this. Ever.
Do you think actually that Hadrian would either one of them actually have run from the fight? That was my question. They said they were going to do it, but when the fight was in front of them, do you think they could have turned around and walked away?
Not forever. I don't think he has the capability to do it forever.
But I think he would have for a good while.
If you listen to Hadrian, though, when they have their moments when they're thinking about it, and the way he explains, we couldn't actually quite do it then because, this was happening or that was happening. And it does feel a little bit like an excuse to me.
Yeah.
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 They could have just stayed on Colchis, really.
Yeah, there you go.
If they really wanted to.
Right.
They didn't have to contact the Imperium.
Right. It's a little bit like a soldier signing up, re-enlisting, I think they wouldn't have lasted, even if they could have even pulled themselves away.
They had to eventually bring across the news that the Commonwealth had betrayed them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't have just stayed on Colchis and sat on that one.
They could have sent a message. I guess they could have sent a message or something.
Yeah. They could have sent a message and left Colchis. But, I mean, there's some
if ever there was an opportunity, it would have been then.
Yeah. But that duty and honor kind of thing, like they were always, I think they could have run and had a good long time. And they had moments. They had moments together. But that duty and honor that they both, have that streak in them.
Yeah. Do you think Hadrian's more guilty of that than Volca is?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Completely.
Oh, sure. Definitely. But she knows him really well, too. So.
Yeah, sure.
So they are basically meant to sail for the Emperor, but they're intercepted on the way by Alexander, who's like, "Oh no, my daddy's been captured," or he's being besieged by the Cielcin on Perfugium. And this was a very interesting meeting between Alexander and Hadrian, wasn't it? It's sort of Alexander is begging for Hadrian to help him, but of course he doesn't want to have to be in the position of the supplicant, right? To the guy who he kind of hates, but also worships at the same time. It's a kind of complex relationship, isn't it?
How much of a snake was he? Did he see that as an opportunity to get rid of both of them?
Maybe.
And then take over on his own. It's like I'm left with that question, re-looking at that scene from other angles in hindsight. Because he feels sincere, go rescue my father, but it was really an impossible task.
I don't know that I buy how much Alexander seems to care for his father. I don't.
Yep.
I think he sells himself as a daddy's boy, but I don't know that I truly believe it.
I think
I think it's very possible that he saw it as a way to get rid of them both.
Yeah.
I think Alexander's an Alexander boy. I wouldn't go.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go beyond that.
He might be a mama's
every
boy.
time.
He might be a mama's.
I think he is. But what
think
mama?
he is.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love every time that you say Alexander's name, Philip, that I can see Dylan cringe about.
Like physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
You
words I've
said-
used for Alexander are too Australian and too colourful, so they can
Yeah.
stay back in Australia. But the way that he, tries to assassinate Hadrian yet again, constantly complains, and then as soon as something goes wrong, runs to Hadrian. Hadrian saves the day, and then I don't know if you want to start talking about the ending, and then he's just back on just trying to get Hadrian away again straight at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you fix my problem?
Yeah. Which makes you kind of, I don't know, Janny's probably onto something. Maybe he didn't want him to fix the problem.
I think so.
I don't know. I maybe it's just I want to like this kid. I feel like there is something in him that is redeemable. Maybe if Hadrian hadn't been such a meanie pants and and calling him a spoiled brat and all that, he'd still be hero worshiping.
Self-aware. Get over it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Here's a comment about chapter 30. The Call is one of my favorite in the series. Only 2 pages, but so I love those. It's really 1 page, 1 paragraph chapters. Yeah, that's really cool. Good call. And here's a question about, where'd it go? Are we going to throw in Daughter of Swords? We did talk about it, but I have not read it. Neither has Janny, so we're not going to actually talk about it explicitly in this. Yeah, we talked about this question as well already. Why Alexander? You've got 100 some odd kids to choose from. You don't have anything better than that, And Janny and I agreed that Celine would be a much better pick as ruler. All right.
I feel like you got to question your parenting. If you have 100 children and they all suck, you got to.
Yeah.
You did something wrong.
Might be time to wonder.
Should we get a nanny? I don't know. I don't think we're cutting it.
It's all mom's fault.
Yeah, I blame mom.
So how did William turn out as well as he did? Even considering
makes you wonder, right? Yeah.
You don't know much about his past, do we?
That's true.
That's true.
He's an old dude now. Yeah.
How did he get to be the hero that he is in this story? We never see that. Come on, Christopher, write the story.
Yep. But whatever the case might be, the emperor is being besieged on Perfugium. And Hadrian has told him again and again, please, you got to call off this grand tour.
Yeah.
And he was ignored. And guess what happened? They're being besieged by the Cielcen general Atavisa. And they've already basically consumed a lot of the population. And then people are just down in the catacombs, surviving for a couple of years. William is looking a little bit ragged and all of that. And Hadrian, after Alexander begs him, leads this team to rescue William. And you can see, here's where you really see his PTSD kicking in big time.
Oh, yeah.
When they land and he's like frozen in certain moments. Like he is not the dashing hero that he was before the previous book. He's certainly, and I love that it was written this way. But one of the things that got me during this whole thing was how stubborn William was about, no, I want to stay. I want to take care of everyone. Yeah. And it was because he was trying to be like Hadrian.
Yeah, that was the gut punch. That was the sledgehammer. That was the jaw dropper. Is like,
yeah,
he wanted to do what you would have done, and he won't leave.
Yep.
So they're both being assholes. What can you say? But yeah, that was incredible because it was like the emperor being inspired by Hadrian is what caused the House of Cards to fall down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it kind of hits Hadrian too. And he realized, actually, that's right. I would be that stupid, wouldn't I? Or at least the Hadrian of before Kingdom of Death would have done that, right? Would have gotten he would have been the last one through the door, as the horde is coming,
It's that weight, it's that responsibility of carrying, like Remus very well said, that myth.
He's broken. He's past his hero stage. He sees Lever want to be the hero. The Emperor wants to now be the hero. And Hadrian, who's been the hero, is he's done with it. He's seen the other side, and it's really tough seeing him on his downfall now, like in this book. Like the whole series, we're seeing him rise higher and higher, and then Kingdoms of Death happens.
Well, Hadrian, the Commonwealth, he played the last guy through the door, and it cost him everything.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. And so, there's that parallel there. And his anger later at William is really ironic then, isn't it? But before William makes his big, stupid blurting out about Tavrosi and all that, we'll talk about that. I do want to give him credit because he refuses to give up Hadrian. When the Cielsen say, hey, just give us Hadrian, just give us Marlowe, and we'll let the rest of you go. Now, maybe they were, that would have been a false promise, but he doesn't even really consider it, whereas everyone around him is saying, oh, let's get him on the shuttle right now, right?
Yeah.
William is like, no, we're not doing that, So the guy has integrity. He wants to be the servant of servants. He wants to, I think there's a genuine desire to be a good ruler, to care for his people. And he's crushed by the fact that he can't, that he's impotent in a sense. So, interesting point here. I've noticed how Hadrian stops referring to Siriani by its name and refers to it as the Shiomu Elusha. That's its, because it's assumed that title, it's become this the king of kings of all the Cielsen. I suppose you could take that as a sign of him buying into the legend as well.
Well, the silver blood was kind of proof, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, to see the other side of the myth, it has to make you worry that you're fighting the Watchers as much as you're fighting Siriani at that point.
Yep. There's a great point here from Primus Inter Pares. The emperor has insecurity because he realizes Hadrian is the chosen one. So the emperor tries to imitate the true chosen one in order to deserve his office. Yeah, there's got to be a bit of that. Yeah.
Isn't that heroes inspire us?
Yep. It's true. I like this comment from Remus as well. Over time, Hadrian and William slowly drift toward becoming a similar type of person. We see more of William's humanity, and Hadrian is becoming more elevated throughout the series. Yeah, great point.
Yeah. Tavrosi comment aside, I don't think Hadrian thinks much of the emperor's wife either. So
yeah, that's true.
There's still a mirror.
So true. Here is a question for you, John, from McScarfield. John, as a cosmic horror Lovecraft expert, what did you think of the doomed expedition to Nairi?
Okay, I would never call myself an expert, but anyone that reads Lovecraft knows any expedition is going to be doomed. Just Mountains of Madness, any of them, any of them.
What was the expedition of Nairi? It's been a while now. I'm trying to remember as I go. What happened on the expedition of Nairi?
I'm trying to remember too. McScarfield, what happens? What is Nairi?
Wasn't that in Disquiet Gods? Am I crazy?
I didn't remember that being.
I feel like I know that name, but I don't feel like I've been there yet. So
okay.
Anyway, the ton of stuff happens here on Perfugium, but the one of the major, of course, we got Basander Lin shattered, got all kinds of arthritis, but he's up there doing his thing. Giving them a chance to evacuate. I love the relationship that has developed between Hadrian and Basander, by the way. They have some good moments as well.
Crazy across the series.
Right, where it started from to where it is now. Yeah.
Yep. There's a real deep friendship that started that. I was enemies, and then there was a bit of hero worship there, and now it's kind of much more a relationship of, it's like he's one of the few people now who knew Hadrian back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Maybe another reason why having Aloran there is really special too, because he knew Hadrian as a youth as well. There aren't too many of them left, right?
I also like that Hadrian has a relationship with somebody that seems like it's built mostly on mutual respect than anything else.
Yep.
Him and Basander Lin still have so many differences as the series goes on, but they just, it almost feels like Basander stops caring at one point because he knows there's not much he can do to change Hadrian.
Okay, so McScarfield is clarifying here. Hapsis is the intelligence agency that's collecting all this information. There is that. What is Nairi the place where they found the other dead Watcher god?
Oh.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
If we get back to the Psander-Hadrian relationship,
Yes.
Hadrian loves and hates him because he admires his heroics, but he does not like the fact that Psander thinks he's the chosen one and bought into the whole
Oh yeah.
"you are it," and so there's quite a bit of a friction in that relationship. It isn't all roses here.
Yeah.
No.
It isn't any friends to enemies or enemies to friends. It's Hadrian's got his issues.
Yeah.
Very true. It's a complex relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a respect, but there's also a lack of respect because Hadrian does not want to be stuck up on a pedestal.
Yeah. I don't. Psander is a true believer, and Hadrian getting more and more to this point, not wanting to be it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well, there's a lot of stuff that happens in these catacombs scenes, but of course we have to talk about when there's the cave-in, which separates Hadrian and Valka, who already has said, "Hey, let's have a kid," and we all knew what was going to happen.
You knew
when she said that. Although I'm going to make a little prediction here. So Hadrian has the phylactery with her blood still, and she said, "I want to have a child." So I think they're going to have one because they can do that with her genes and stuff, right? So anyway, they're going to have a kid. They're going to have a kid, sort of.
What's the title of the story we all told you to read?
Daughter of the Sword. Okay.
Great job, John.
Oh, they're going to have a daughter. Okay. Nice. I like daughter. All right. Good. Yeah. So that's a little prediction here, but you know what's coming when that cave-in happens, and off they go. And I'm like, I have so much tension as I'm reading about whatever it was, Gamma Group or whatever of the escape shuttles, and I was like, oh no. And of course, and the way it happened so abruptly. And her last words, as if she knew it was coming. First, she says Hadrian's name, and then she is about to say something else. But
was there any significance to the gamma?
I mean,
to the Greek letter? I'm curious.
That's a good question.
Probably.
Knowing his love for the Greeks, there must be.
Could be. Yeah.
Real party.
We'll have to bring the fireworks to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is just deeply tragic. But of course, I think one of the things that gives it its power is that moment is just so abrupt and so just like whoa. And I was in a kind of just a numb state of denial. But one of the things that gives that scene its power is when Adavaisa is gloating, and he's only there through a holograph, but he's gloating. Earlier, of course, John, the thing that I thought, well, John's going to dig this, is when you've got the Duke, who's basically been made into a human Cielson.
Alien scene.
Oh, the incubator.
Human incubator, when they rip him open and there's a baby Cielson inside, I thought with John.
So cool.
John!
little alien moment going on. So cool. Come on.
This is war.
Yeah, we loved it. We just loved it.
It was awesome. I was actually similar to you, though, Philip, when I read that Valka had died, because it happened to be right before I had like 2 weeks of being on like a reading slump. So I finished that chapter where it was the really abrupt, she's dead.
Right.
And I was just in full-blown denial, like, she's not dead. I walked around for 2 full weeks going, Valka's not dead. There's no way. Yeah. And then I finished the book and was very upset that she did not come back.
Adrian literally says, bring her back, Lorian. Bring her back.
Yeah, bring her back.
Because the transmission is gone. And of course he means bring her back, right? I mean, that got me, actually, when Hadrian's saying, bring her back. But again, I think what gives it the whole thing its power is Hadrian's reaction. He essentially just reaches out with the power, collapses the window in the spaceship behind out of Isa and blows them all up, or
Yeah.
just into space, I would assume.
So like this whole book where he's like, the one I don't want to, and then you hit this end, and he's like, everyone sees he's the one. Like,
Yeah, in front of the
he's
whole
like,
court.
what did he just do?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've
he
seen
made
the
a ton
art
of
yet on
enemies.
your broken binding edition, Philip, but this is the hardcover with the broken glass and his crooked smile.
I don't actually have that one yet. I only have the first three, but
Yeah.
they're on their way. I hope any day now. Wow, so beautiful though. Yeah, it's really tough. Yeah,
Yet another situation similar to Kingdoms of Death, by the way, where Hadrian has to undergo all that suffering in Kingdoms of Death without some intervention from the Quiet to save him. And at the very end, after everybody's fates are kind of sealed, then a high matter sword appears to Hadrian. It's like
Right.
this one chosen one who has been imbued with the power of God cannot save the one person left that he loves.
yeah.
Even though he has this power, but he can crush a window with his fingers afterward.
But
He just can't
controls
save the
when
person he
can
loves.
use it.
A window that's thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can do the impossible when it's not something that's truly important to him.
And I think that maybe one of the reasons for the emperor, for William's later callousness, and again, there's some really human scenes with him here as well. But one of the reasons why he maybe speaks the way he does, of course, he's the emperor, right? He's elevated.
Yeah.
And Hadrian is his cousin. They're elevated above the common run of humanity, especially those weird extrasolarians and those Tavrosi and whatnot. But also, I feel like he witnesses this as
Yes.
is saying.
Yes.
He witnesses Hadrian and thinks of him as almost godlike at this point. Why would he be so devastated by a very human loss like this? He sees him as elevated, and for him, offering his daughter again, Selene, you can marry her. He's conferring that, he's recognizing his godlike status here. You're above this, dude. Why would you be so broken about your concubine or your courtesan or whatever he keeps calling her? So I feel like that may be because he's there, he's witnessing Hadrian. He's a full believer at that point. Until
If you were married to his empress,
yeah,
it would be like, I don't think William's ever known what Hadrian would have felt for another human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been the emperor from.
But his belief as well, like you said, the servant of servants. Like he
believes it.
He's seeing things on a totally different way. Like, don't you understand? You and me we're called to this. We have to do this. Yes, your woman's dead. Get over it. We have to do this.
It's nice to see Hadrian see that in retrospect as well. Like getting his thoughts as like, oh, you know what? He kind of had some points and he was trying. Like the effort was there. I just couldn't see through the grief at the time.
Yeah. I mean, he writes in retrospect with a lot of understanding of William, and he wants the reader to sympathize with William. He thinks of him as a good person,
As a great emperor. Like he puts it in this book that he's not just a good emperor. He's like,
well, and look at his kids. Look at what the other options are, right? Like we were just asking, how did William get here? Like, how did he get to care this much, or how did he? It's like absolute power corrupts absolutely. Somehow William made it to this apex and still cares.
Yeah. And he is a brilliant emperor, but Hadrian still punches him on the nose.
You knew, like Janny said, Janny called it. You knew that was coming.
It was a satisfying moment in some ways for Hadrian.
Rage is blindness.
Yes, rage is blindness.
Rage is blindness.
So if
And
rage
on
is blindness, I wonder what the after effect is going to be of giving into that rage.
Mm-hmm. But on both sides, too, like the emperor could have, I am the law. Let's all take a moment and calm down and move forward. He didn't do that. He drew lines. Like he had a bit of rage and had to save his place and make a statement. So, kind of went both ways.
Remus puts it really well here. William makes decisions that affect billions every day. He doesn't have time to console someone over the grief of one person. It's always
Yeah.
one. So he's got this bird's eye view. He's zoomed way out, right? So it was callous, but I think it wasn't cruel or meant to be anyway. But unfortunately, you don't mess with Valka when Hadrian is around. And he just basically, William has said, "Hey, I'll give you anything you want, especially if you ask me for my daughter." You know, unless you ask me to release you, which I'm not going to do. And that's what Hadrian wants. He's like, "Release me, release me." You know, he finally gets that out.
Let me run. Let me run. That's what she wanted of me. Let me run.
Yeah.
Although I do think that him slapping the emperor is a form of reply of the emperor. Like Janny was saying, the emperor talking to Hadrian, you're so above this here. I believe that you're the god chosen one now. You shouldn't have to care about one person. And I think Hadrian believes that he has that status too, so much so that he can slap the emperor and get away with it. And he did.
Yeah, well, he was going to Belucia. He was going to be nice if it weren't for Lorien and Basander and the Jadians, I guess. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the Hadrian's reward scene?
The Will Smith moment. It's such a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Keep my Tavrosi's name out
your mouth.
Bam. Yeah.
Well, Lorien having more courage than any of them.
Yes.
Because he took the fall.
He did.
He was physically the weakest, and he took the fall for all of it.
Believe me, when you read Dregs of Empire, you realize there are some serious repercussions to that bit of heroism. Belucia is not a nice vacation spot. Let's put it that way. But he does do this for Hadrian, and that's really something. And of course, he does say to Hadrian in that moment when he's visiting him, when he's in that cell, I'll tell you later, right? And when he asks, "How did you get that witness out of there?" And when he saved his butt earlier, and Lorien just says, "Yeah, I'll tell you later." Basically as a way of saying, "I'm going to get you out of here, but I can't say that explicitly because we're probably on camera," right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This puts a whole other spin on what Gibson tried to do for Hadrian. Because Gibson probably foresaw all of the friction Hadrian was going to encounter and all the shattering of the ideals and all of the breaking of his spirit multiple times as he completed these impossible tasks. And Gibson wanted to send him to be a scholiast, even though the dregs and the criminals went to be scholiast. But if he had gone and become the scholar, he would have been protected from everything.
True. Very true. Yeah.
He wouldn't have had Gibson's fate.
That's not what the Quiet wanted from him.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. Yes, of course, McDarfield, you're absolutely right to remind us the Dragon Slayers, they actually put the plan into action. They're the ones who rescue Hadrian from the cell and give it a little bit of realism by slapping him around a little bit. But they get him out of there in good order and at great risk to themselves, obviously, because they're basically traitors to the Empire too.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they're going to have to stick close to Hadrian now. Another comment I want to acknowledge from Remus. It's also the first time we see the Martians in action against the Cielsen. They were magnificent, Hadrian writes. Absolutely, yes. The Martians were a big part of this. And of course, they have this whole complex background. The Martians, having been at one time, Mars was a convict planet itself.
Mm-hmm.
And these are their descendants, I guess. But they've been formed out of this crucible, this red planet where people got hardened and had to live a rough life, and so they're a different breed, and we witnessed their prowess because other soldiers really haven't fared nearly as well.
Echoes of Dune there.
I was just
yeah, absolutely. So we've got Gibson left Hadrian a letter to help him become a scholiast. Yeah, he's got his hey, you lost this earlier, I'll give you another copy thing. I wonder if that's how he gets into Colchis' Athenaeum to write this story. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Ooh.
So he still can become a scholiast, kind of, I guess. We'll see.
One thing today that popped into my head when I was listening to the ending again was just in Hadrian's conversation with Lorien. Lorien's like, who's this Alima guy? And it just gives you the perspective on, like, we think those two have been together for a long time, but Hadrian lived like a whole nother 3 lives before he even met Lorien, and it's got all this other backstory that someone who we think of as being Hadrian's last person left of the Red Company didn't even know of. So just like nice little perspective adder to Hadrian's long life and full life.
Yep. Yeah, well said. Yeah, any other talking points from Ashes of Man from any of you guys? I'm sure we missed who knows how many things, but anything we missed, guys, that you wanted to bring up?
Stuff happens.
How's your emotional state doing, Philip? Ready for more?
Oh,
Did you walk? Did you walk around 2 days like Jacob and go, Valka's coming back, right? Like,
bring her back, Lorien. Yeah. No, it was a melancholy book in many ways, and just gut wrenching. And I bought into this relationship from book 1, really, because I figured even in Empire Silence, when she was being a little bit mean to this kid, that something was going to develop here. The way he was talking about her, I would hate for him to have gone 1,000 years pining after her and never getting to. I mean, the way he talked about her, it was obvious that there was going to be something. And it's been a beautiful ride. It's been a beautiful relationship throughout, and she really brought out the best in him in many ways.
absolutely.
I'm a little frightened for what he's going to be. I mean, now I can see this guy who's going to blow up a sun, and you could see where, having Valka around might have changed that. Like, would he have gone that far if Valka had still been around? Hard to say. I mean, I haven't gotten to that point yet, so I don't know what that situation exactly is. But
it was the Quiet want him to suffer so much and be alone with all these deaths around him, so that he can.
I mean, it almost seems cruel. If the Quiet is a god, isn't it cruel to have Hadrian's power only be available when he needs to save his own skin? Or when he's in an extreme emotional state where he's been pushed to his absolute limits. Why couldn't he have called upon it to save Valka?
But even in the extreme emotional state where he broke the glass from however long away, was he able to access the power because he was emotional, or because the Quiet wanted him to be able to show off his power in front of the Emperor?
That's it. He seems to be able to use the power when it's beneficial to the Quiet.
Which brings up that free will question again.
That free will. I mean, look back at all these other stories. You're going to build an ark by this many cubits, by this many cubits, by that. I'm sure all these people that maybe not the most popular people in the neighborhood building an ark. I mean, not always beneficial when you're called, I guess, in one way or another.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the fact that Valka had her lifelong scholarly dream was to decipher the language of the Quiet, and Adrian took that away from her, and in a way that removed the central pillar of what she had dedicated her life to do.
She grieves.
Yeah, so she ended up in his orbit completely without her own driving dream. It was gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she sacrifices a lot for this relationship, even though
Everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
her whole identity, really, and in the end, her life as well. But yeah, it's still, and that is the nature of a relationship in many ways. You do make compromises. You do make sacrifices for each other, for something. Hopefully you're able to preserve yourself in that, but you also, you're a unit, right?
It was a tilted scale, though. She gave up her dream. She lost her because the Quiet it was not a language, it was something else.
Yeah.
She lost a portion of her mind to Urbane the first time around in
Yep.
one of Hadrian's scraps.
Yep.
She saved him
Multiple
at great
times.
cost.
Yeah, multiple times, yeah.
And then she lost her life. But what did he ever sacrifice for her?
Hmm.
I mean, even in this recounting,
Except for
of-
smacking the emperor one.
he got one on him. Even in Hadrian's recounting of this story, now Valka will always be remembered as another nail in the coffin of what created the man that ate the sun. She's part of Hadrian's story. It's not. There's no part of Valka's journey that seems like it's her
Valka's
story. Yeah, or that she has her own independent journey that she's going through. It's all loss and giving up her own identity so that Hadrian's story can take its place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's the gender dynamic in that, and there's also just the chosen one dynamic where
They all get sucked in, but I don't want to go forward because I don't want to spoil what's coming.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, if you look at all the people that get sucked into Hadrian's orbit, they all get knocked out of step.
Yep.
I mean,
Anyways.
every member of the Red Company died
Yeah,
so that
absolutely.
he could make it. Lorien sacrificed himself at the end of this book, so Hadrian wouldn't have to go to Belucia. It happens all the time. Yeah.
And
The
again,
Emperor's cheek made the ultimate sacrifice. Now it's in vain.
And their responsibility and the weight of that is starting to add up on Hadrian.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
But also, the heart of the Red Company wouldn't be alive if he hadn't pulled them together when they were back as mermaidens, or whatever, have we pronounced that?
That's true.
In the arena.
Yeah.
So a lot of those guys wouldn't have had that life. So
yeah.
That's true.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, John, what were you going to say?
Oh, who knows? I don't know.
So.
I was going to say also, all of this is absolutely told and narrated through Hadrian's eyes, and he's a melodramatic person that takes up a lot of space. So his view of all these people in his orbit might be a bit different if it was narrated from Valka's point of view. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well, is it time for me to make my predictions?
Sure. You already made one.
I made one pretty big one. Hadrian is going to have a daughter with Valka's DNA. So I guess you weren't very impressed by that prediction. I guess you feel like it was sort of obvious from. I didn't know about the title of Daughter of the Sword. So anyway, what else is going to happen? Well, they're on Jad, so of course we got to have more Aloran or Caim. I got to call him Caim now, I guess, but I still like the dude. I think he's going to have to train. There's going to be some training sequences here.
Ooh.
I mean, when I think of Jad, I think of high matter swords. So, there's got to be some high matter. And hey, she's Daughter of the Sword. What do you know? So, hey, there's going to be some high matter sword stuff going on, which I'm all for. And what else is going to happen? Well, he's not going to blow up the sun yet because we got 2 books to go. So, I don't know.
Well, I think it's, okay. Corey M4147 says, so excited to see you read Disquiet Gods. A single chapter in there is the fulcrum upon which the entire series hinges upon. So bring on chapter 40. That's all we're going to say.
Okay. All right. I've been forewarned about chapter 40. Holy cow. Okay. I'll be waiting with bated breath for chapter 40. This is the chapter everyone talks about, I guess, huh? Okay. Very good. Well, yeah, I'm excited. Hadrian is, I don't know what kind of person he's going to be after all this. Probably very shattered. There are certain losses that you just don't get over. And when I finished Kingdoms of Death, I had an idea that Hadrian was going to be less active, be less present in the moment of combat and all of that. Like he was no longer going to be this young dashing hero. And I was partly right and partly wrong, I think. I mean, he does join in the action, but I think where I was right was where he's clearly frozen in moments. Like he doesn't know what to do. He wants to get out of there. So I like how Christopher Ruocchio followed up on all of that. And now that he's lost Valka, he's going to need some time to heal, but I also have to think he's going to, at a certain point, want to get back into action. Now, if he does have a kid, that's going to change him too. There is one thing that will change you. It is becoming a parent. So what is maybe it will take a threat to his child for him to get pushed back into the action, or something along those lines. So that's a prediction for you. Something's going to happen where Hadrian has to protect his daughter of the sword, and that's going to bring him back into action. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure he's pretty traumatized and probably licking his wounds on Jad. So, yep. Okay, so we've got more people saying it's chapter 40. Chapter 40, Red Company Discord. We literally talk pre-chapter 40 and post-chapter 40 reading experiences. Holy cow. Okay. And Christopher Ruocchio said he spent months writing that chapter. Mm-hmm. Whoa. And confirmed here by Corey M. Christopher Ruocchio took a few months on just chapter 40. Well, it sounds like it might be important. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's one of those 2-pagers, like The Call.
It's just one of the,
it's one quick bite.
And he took months to write that.
Yeah.
Had to get it right.
This isn't quite the right word. Okay. Nice. I believe me, I have those moments myself when I'm writing. So, any final thoughts from any of you guys?
I'm mostly just excited.
Yeah, I can't.
Bring it.
I can't wait for you to get into Disquiet Gods and the final one. I've had so much fun doing this.
But we're having to do this fewer and fewer times as we do these
closer
videos.
and closer.
Disquiet Gods. So it's not the quiet and gods plural. So I assume we're talking about the Watchers here. Maybe.
What a detective. Give that man a medal.
They don't call him Dr. Wishy-Washy for nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Dr. Philippe is on his A game
tonight. Dr. Philippe.
Philippe, thank you for redeeming the name Christopher Ruocchio. I do appreciate that. It is the French version, but I'll take it. So it has a bit of dash to it, don't you think, Philippe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, well, thank you for, once again, you are the best. I really appreciate you spending this time with me and just sharing the love for this series with me. It's so much fun doing this, reading these books, and I look forward to reading the books, and then I look forward to doing this just as much. It's just fantastic. And thank you.
Only 2 more to go.
Two more to go.
Only 2 more to go. It's going too fast.
I know. I like Janny's idea. We might have to, when the book of short stories comes out November or whatever it is, maybe we have to have a reunion. Yeah.
That'd be fun. I'd like that.
Let's do it for sure. But thank you all. Thank you everybody in the chat as well, and also a big thank you to Team Replay. If anyone comes around to watch this after the live stream, thank you so much. And but that is going to be it for us for now. All right. Good night, everybody, or good morning, or wherever you are. Take it easy. All right.